here for Half Hour with today. And today, our half hour is with Saturday Night Live, and more specifically, Saturday Night Live's director, Liz Patrick. Welcome, Liz. Almost all the television you do is live, and for that, you've been nominated again for an Emmy, first solo Emmy nomination for directing Saturday Night Live. Interestingly, there have only been 5 directors in the entire history of SNL, and only 2 women, you being one of them. And last year you were nominated in a joint nomination, but this year, all by yourself. You also won the DGA award, and you have a boatload of Emmys from your time at the Ellen DeGeneres show. Isn't that right? That must have been, how many years did you work with Ellen on her show?
Oh boy. Well, first off, thank you for having me, and thank you for reading all those awards. That's really cool, and nominations. Yeah. I spent 13 years at Ellen. I started in fall of 2008 and left them, helped launch their last season, and then had gotten the call from SNL and was given a blessing to take off and see what I can do. Wow,
it's so exciting. I mean, it's such a legacy show, and there's so much history to it. So it must be a little daunting just to walk in those doors in Rockefeller Center and 30 Rock and know that it's in your hands now.
It's been pretty crazy. I mean, the first time I went in that building to chat with them about even the possibility of something like this, it's surreal. It's unbelievable. This is a show that I grew up watching and I really enjoyed, and to then, be able to work on it in some capacity, and not only just work on it, but to direct it. It's been a dream come true. And it was something I've always wanted to do in terms of working on the show. And then when I started my directing career, I was like, wow, wouldn't this be really cool if I could direct that one day? And when I first started my directing career, I was at MTV. I've been giving opportunities there, and just started to grow and learn from other directors. And one of those directors was Beth McCarthy Miller, who was a director at SNL.
The other female director in this history, yeah.
Yes, prior to Don Roy King. And so watching her and her success with that show, it just gave me a little snippet of, maybe there is a possibility that I can really do this. And so, I don't know, it's been a goal that I set out for myself, and I'm actually thrilled and honored to be there.
It's amazing. Did you, when you mentioned MTV, and that's sort of where you got your start doing red carpet shows, yeah. TRL, all of the shows in the golden era, I would say, of MTV.
Yeah.
And, and got real training, but you came in as like a PA or something like that, right?
I started as a PA. And in fact, Beth was our senior director when I started. And it was just incredible to see a woman in charge of everything. And I didn't realize until she left how important that was and what an impact that made on me. But yeah, I worked my way up there, stage managing and working as an assistant director, and then eventually directing. And at the time I was directing, a lot of live shows were happening on MTV. One of those being Total Request Live, like you said, TRL. And other ones we did live concerts, we did red carpet shows, we did a little sketch comedy, we did a little bit of everything. So it was nice. I got to dip my toe in different styles of production.
Yeah, that's perfect training for SNL.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some of this live television you've been directing this season here on Saturday Night Live. Take a look. Here it is.
And live from New York, let's go.
It's Saturday Night Live.
Hi, I'm the problem.
The whole country's falling apart.
That's crazy.
Oh, I'm here too.
Is it bad?
Oh, yes, please.
Oh my God.
Great to be with you, Judy, on your sweet little show full of lies.
You only have 2 minutes to post. Quick, pose.
More, and more. Rella. You get that call?
I don't know.
I am a man.
That's the spicy meatball.
Let him laugh.
Oh my God.
Are you ready?
Recalculate Calculating
Did
route.
we miss the goddamn exit again? Sorry, I'm not focusing on the nap!
Blooper reel.
Yeah.
Spin me, bitch.
Well, like, why would that be what we're doing? Pain lowing.
No, that's not right. Welcome aboard.
I told them not to laugh at your favorite foods.
That's the meanest thing you've ever done. I was truly like, am I not mic'd? And then I was just like, oh, I just suck.
I'm doing Michael Caine.
Holy shit! You did not prepare me for that!
Nice try, bitch.
One line and I did it bad.
Any question?
I don't know! I shouldn't be doing this!
Hit it!
Oh my god!
Do you feel that, Colin?
Oh, that's really good.
Oh my God, Jesus!
There we go! Boom! You don't let me dress like Joker?
Weird choice with the fingers.
I'm not gonna miss a thing! Like, no, honey. When he's done, you're done!
Exactly.
Now watch from the corner.
Woo-hoo-hoo! I said goddamn!
That
Yeah.
brings it all back. Normally in the summer, we're used to not having Saturday Night Live first run. And I know you missed the last 2 episodes of the regular season due to the writer's strike, right?
Last 3 we missed.
Last 3, which was, we always look forward to that. Pete Davidson was going to host one.
Yep.
And, so the impact hasn't been felt completely on SNL yet. With the normal season, we're hoping that these strikes get settled so we can have it back, because we miss it. We need SNL. Do you feel that? Do people tell you that?
Yeah, I've heard that a lot recently, and we all want a resolution to come, and we all want everyone happy, and this show couldn't exist without our writers and with our cast. So I'm looking forward to the day we get back in. But yeah, so many people are I think looking forward to new episodes, and we missed out on Pete Davidson, Kieran Culkin, and Jennifer Coolidge, and I'm sure those would have been brilliant episodes, and I'm hoping in some capacity they get to come back and get an opportunity to host.
Yeah, you mentioned the writers, and you have to work closely with this amazing writing staff here just to pull this off, just the logistics of it. Can you run through for me what a week is like at Saturday Night Live, how it starts, how you get involved with them and all of this? Because it looks like, and what we just saw there, like it's all just happening then, and that's the beauty of what you pull off. But we know it's a lot harder than
it is a lot of work, but a lot of fun at the same time. It starts off on Monday. There's a writers meeting that they pitch different ideas to the host. So it's a host meeting. They pitch little ideas, and then I go in for that, and then I don't come back until Wednesday. I start reading Wednesday morning, I wake up at 10 a.m. I sit down on my computer at 10 a.m. to start reading through all these sketches that they've written. They start slowly coming into the server because they've spent all of Tuesday writing them, and sometimes they're still adjusting them in the morning. So those start coming in the server. I start writing down all my notes on how I would shoot them, where we could put them physically on the stage. Do we need special effects? Do we need a stunt choreographer? Do we need a door? Do we need a staircase? Do we need a trap door? All these different notes that I need to keep track of. And there's anywhere from 30 to 50 scripts to read. And so from 10 to 4, I'm trying to make all those notes as those scripts are coming in. 4 o'clock, we usually do read through. Sometimes it gets pushed a little bit to 5, depending on schedules. So come 5 o'clock, then we're in read through. The cast is reading, the host is reading. And you start to see everything come to life. And if you were mistaken about a certain tone or a certain direction that a sketch was going, this helps you figure that out. And after that meeting, after that read through, I meet with our supervising producer and our head production designer, and we start plotting out where things will go. And sometimes we pick multiple areas for things, because if 2 large sketches go, or sometimes 3 or 4 large sketches go, there are certain spaces that fit very well for that type of sketch. And then sometimes we need to ask for a sketch maybe to be scaled down, or which one can we break down into 2 components to help us fit everything on stage. So Wednesday is a really big day. Lauren and the producers and the host usually make the selects, and after they make those selects, I go back to the production design department and we start laying it down, and we start creating basically what the set's going to look like. And Leo and his entire production team and his research team, they have old photos of things that we've done, whether it be an old living room or an old office or a bar, and to help us figure out what this sketch is going to look like. And then the writers come by and talk a little bit about their sketch, and we get a better sense altogether whether we're all on the same page or whether we need to change things. And sometimes the sketch has already changed slightly, and so it's just accommodating that. And then Thursday's our first day of rehearsal. We usually start the day off with a music rehearsal. So we get our artist or our band in there, and we get them situated depending on their creative. Sometimes we've had multiple phone calls or emails to chat about what types of sets they're bringing in, or what kind of looks they're going for. Sometimes they bring in special effects, or sometimes there's monitor walls, or Billie Eilish always brings something fun to the table.
Well, you never know with that. I mean,
Right.
Anything can happen, even in those musical sequences.
Yeah.
We saw with Sinead O'Connor, who just died. They were showing this SNL clip over and over where she just, tore up a picture of the Pope.
Yeah. What a flash, right, from the past.
Oh yeah. Well, you got to be, as a director of live television, you got to be ready for anything to happen.
You do. You have a plan, and then sometimes it goes according to plan, and sometimes something happens, and you just have to go with what's happening.
Yeah. So Thursday you're doing music, and then
so Thursday we do music. Hopefully everything that we need for music is there. Sometimes it doesn't show up until Saturday, but most of the time we complete it on Thursday, and then we go into promos for the week with the music artist and with the host. And then we begin our sketch rehearsals, and we usually pick anywhere from 3 to 4 sketches to rehearse that day, and we have minimal sets for that on Thursday, because everything was just created on Wednesday or presented to us on Wednesday, right?
It's amazing.
But the design team is amazing at getting us flats, and we with doors or with staircases, they'll get us the bare minimum that we need to set it. And so we'll set marks. We'll rehearse a sketch with the cast. I'll go to the floor and rehearse with them at least for the first pass, and then come into the control room and then start letting them. I'll get cameras on, let them do their thing, and then we'll give more specific camera notes, and we'll do another pass. So we do about 4 sketches on Thursday. We go home. Sometimes there's already changes to something that you rehearse that day, or sometimes you're getting changes to a sketch you're going to rehearse on Friday. Sometimes that doesn't happen until Friday morning. So Friday we come in and we rehearse the remainder of the sketches, or remaining sketches, and usually our sets are a little bit more put together, but still we don't have everything all painted. We don't have wallpaper. Lots of things are still missing. But we usually save, our more complicated sketches for Friday. So those would be our musical sketches, or ones that have a lot of special effects. And we'll complete that Friday night. There's a meeting in Lauren's office to talk about the order of the sketches and how we're gonna run the show. And then
so you don't know until Friday night actually what order you're going to deal with, because that's all up to Lauren what's going to work.
Yeah, it is. So on Wednesday night after that read through, he generally has a great idea, and it goes up on the board. This is the order. And then sometimes throughout the week, depending on how rehearsals go or how sketches evolve, that could change. But we go in Wednesday night knowing this is the show order, and then Friday it could change. Friday night, I'll spend anywhere from 1 to 3 hours going through each sketch and just making sure the notes are transferred correctly, or I'm transferring them correctly, or if I go in and I see something different. So I'll watch the split of a sketch rehearsal that we did, and I'll be like, oh, this camera guy sold me something great that would actually work with this now, or there's a change in the sketch and I think I can get it with that camera. So I'll start applying those notes, and then my script is photocopied, and our technical director does a camera meeting on Saturday morning to give me just a little more time to sleep. And then Saturday we rehearse every sketch from top to bottom, and we try to do that without stopping. And it literally is like Christmas morning when you walk into 8H. It's just like all the sets are coming together. People are painting, people are putting wigs together, people are putting special effects makeup together. It is, props department is getting everything lined up. It's just incredible what everyone does. It's pretty magical and pretty cool. And to be a part of that is just, I don't know, it's amazing. So we get through that Saturday, I call it morning rehearsal, but it's really anywhere from like 12 to 6, I guess. And then we finally rehearse weekend update, and then we get ready for dress rehearsal.
And the dress rehearsal is the full show.
Correct. So at 8 o'clock is our dress rehearsal. We try to start right on time. Otherwise, it's going to hurt us on the back end. So 8 o'clock, we go off and we do every sketch that's been planned, unless something's been killed earlier in the week. But otherwise, it's everything that's been planned. We do that. You finally get to hear crowd reactions from that. And then Lauren is taking notes throughout that show, deciding, maybe thinking about what will play where, or what's really playing, what's not playing. And then after that dress rehearsal, we go into Lauren's office and they begin talking about what's moving forward, what the host likes, what the producers like, what the writers like, and what is working for us on stage. Sometimes we realize you can't go from one sketch to another because some of the set elements are too big, or they're closely spaced in the studio and we can't turn around quickly enough. And then the show is at 11:30, and there's no stopping.
There's no stopping then. That's it. And that's what we get to see. And now they show it live on the West Coast too. They never used to do that. So
it's great. Yeah, I love it.
So it's truly live
yes.
For everybody, which is fantastic. The Emmy episode that you chose to enter is the holiday show that was hosted by Steve Martin and Martin Short. You cannot go wrong with those two guys hosting your show. What was it about that one that you had so much fun with that you wanted to make sure people saw it?
Well, I mean, Steve Martin and Martin Short are, to me, some of my comedy heroes, and just, SNL veterans, and they're comic geniuses. And, it's also a special episode being around the holidays, and the set is decorated. And so we have fun with our beauty shots. And it's just, I don't know, it's just an all around good feeling of the show. And I think the audience is a little more pumped too. You walk into 30 Rock and outside people are skating in the ice rink. The tree is up. It's crowded. People are shopping. It's that New York hustle and bustle. And I don't know, it kind of translates into the show too. It's just, I don't know, it's just a really cool episode.
Let's take a look at Steve Martin, Martin Short, in this sketch from the holiday show of Saturday Night Live.
I'm just so excited for snow. If I close my eyes, I feel like I can almost see it.
Where it's snowing all winter through, that's where I want to be. Snowball eating, that's what I'll do. Eating? How I'm longing to sleep all night in the snow.
Sleep in the snow? Are you crazy?
For snow?
Gosh, now I'm excited for snow.
on, Selena Gomez. You're even more beautiful in real life.
I know. Thanks.
Frank, how much is she gonna cost me?
Oh, 1.8 million, easy.
Oh, come on, George, sing to everybody. Let's sing. Every party is a pooper. That's why we invited you. A party pooper. Party pooper. Everybody has a party.
So all that must be just so much fun to do, but do you ever feel the pressure of this live thing, or is that the way you like to roll? Because it seems to me that just gets you going, that you know it's live.
It does get me going, but it's like I feel like I feel like all the shows I work on are live or treated as live. You know, Ellen wasn't live, but we treated it that way, and we rarely redid anything.
It was live on tape, essentially.
Yeah, that was live on tape. We only redid musical performances or dance numbers if something went wrong, but otherwise the rest of it was live to tape. And you know, MTV, so much of that was live. But I guess I'm used to chaos. I'm used to some controlled chaos, and you know, all the shows I've ever worked on leading up to SNL, I'm used to a lot of change, and you know, from the scripts changing to order changing to, you know, ripping up the rundown, and you know what, we're actually have to do this. So I'm not afraid of that. And I guess I'm very thankful to have that experience beforehand walking into this. So that part didn't make me nervous. The tough thing is managing all the changes and making sure you're able to apply, you know, figure out if the whole thing has been lifted up, if a section has been lifted, it's just figuring out how to get from one area to another. And sometimes you do that correctly. Sometimes you realize as you're cutting it, there is a potential mistake, and you fix it live. So it's it keeps you on your toes.
I'll say, can you talk about working with this legend, Lorne Michaels, who has been the producer of this show probably longer than anybody in television history. One single show. Of course, he does other things too, spinoffs and movies and things,
right,
but has been at the helm of Saturday Night Live. What is your relationship with him and his secret that you can tell us?
I don't know if I know the secret yet, but I mean, what a smart man, to have a show on the air for, you know, this is going to be the 49th season, and to be successful. I know, you know, he missed a few years there, but this is his show. This is his baby. And to be, I don't know, be trusted to bring it to life. It's a huge honor. And I enjoy working with him.
Yeah, it's like this show seems like it can go on forever and ever and ever. And like I said before, I mentioned you make it look so easy that it goes on there, but I know it's reacting just like anything else on television to live news events and things, where something can happen on Thursday that will totally throw out plans for the beginning of that show.
Right, that has happened a few times.
The Chinese spy.
Yeah, the balloon. Yep. And so, you know, they were still in the air, I think, when it was written. and then I want to say it was that morning or the night before that, suddenly it was in the water. So and
it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Bowen Yang there, you know, and
Bowen was amazing, and just the turnaround from the writers to you know, quickly respond to something like that. It's I don't know, it's amazing, it's fascinating, and it's really cool that they can turn gears so quickly, and that we all can. Actually, every department is affected, and so, you know, creating or modifying what was supposed to happen and making it work. It's just really cool.
Now, for 13 years or so, you had one host. You knew that was your host, Ellen DeGeneres, day in, day out. You knew that wasn't going to change.
Yep.
Here, you have a different host every week. What's that dynamic like, bringing in somebody new who may be a movie actor that's not used to live television, that, you know, is there to basically, they put them on to promote a movie, and they suddenly are thrown into all these sketches, live monologues, things like that. What are your experiences with the host?
I think it's just trying to accommodate their style. First of all, making them feel comfortable, making them feel safe. The writers are really good about, going through their sketches with them when we're not rehearsing, if things change. It's just kind of an amazing process. But, a lot of the film actors or TV actors are who aren't used to multi-camera live TV, want to go a little bit slower and or figure out, what's really my intention here, or why am I moving to this area, and I'm not sure if I should walk here. And it's like, well, we have a stunt, or we have something that can only happen in this area of the stage, so we might creatively need to figure out how to get you there, which makes sense to you. And so it's just, I don't know, accommodating them, making them feel comfortable. And then when you get a host that has no TV, no hosting experiences or acting experience, I guess I should say, not hosting, somebody like Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce was a natural. I mean, just such a fun guy to work with. And,
Right.
when I met him, he was like, oh my God, you're my coach for the week. And I was like, oh, I'm honored. Me and Andy Reid.
I have to say, it's been its own show. It's been spun off out into different places on NBC, but Weekend Update has lived on since the days of Chevy Chase and at the very beginning when the show started in 1975, and is a highlight for so many people and so many things. And it does look so spontaneous to me, all those things and all those moving parts of Weekend Update that make it what it is. That has to be really fun to work with, I would imagine.
It is. And it brings me back to my, at MTV, we would do MTV News and we do Weekend Rock. And so it kind of reminds me of those days, but it's all comedy based. And so, the jokes are continuously changing, or the stories are continuously changing depending on what's happening. And then, the bits that we do with some of the cast that come in and play different characters. And Sarah Sherman has had a blast with Colin, coming in. It's been really fun. And then hers have been a little more technical at times. So we'll actually try to rehearse those elements before Saturday, just so we are all on the same page. And even Molly Carney this year flying up in the air. What a fun bit.
That's amazing. I have to ask you too, Michael Che and Colin kind of pull pranks on each other. They're surprising them. And it's so funny, but are those really surprises to each of them when they
yes, a lot of yes. So far when I've been there, everything's been, when it's a prank, it's a surprise. And this year in particular, the April Fool's joke, Michael Che had the idea to so nobody would laugh at Colin's jokes when he first came out, or when he first began his side of it. And so Michael came out, actually went up to the holding areas for the audience and talked to the audience before they loaded in, and asked everyone for their help in not laughing at Colin. And then I think he did it on stage again, and we weren't feeding Colin's dressing room, so we couldn't see the warm up. But when Colin first started, there were a few laughs. And I just looked at Michael's face, and he was like, it just looked like he was like, oh no, is this gonna work? And then as soon as we went back to Michael for his story, and there was a huge roar of laughter, we all knew it was gonna work.
Totally. That's what I talk about, live TV, and you're going in there, and that's just what gives it that extra special touch. As we conclude here, we always like to ask a question on Half Hour With about what do you think is key for people to look for in the last season that you just did?
I don't know. It was an amazing year, and so many great hosts that came through. It was a joy having Molly Shannon, and growing up and being a fan of Molly and her comedy. And I was a big Mary Catherine Gallagher fan, and I was hoping that would make it in, but I know how physical that type of sketch is. But getting her to do Sally O'Malley was, I don't know, it was amazing. And just having conversations of, how that sketch came to life, and then doing a new version of that. It was that was a thrill for me.
So amazing. Wow. Well, there are so many moments. Thank you, Liz Patrick, for joining us on Half Hour. Was so much fun. And congratulations again on the Emmy nomination.
Thank you so much, Pete. It was so nice talking to you. Thank you for having me.